If you watched my labor and delivery vlog, you would know that I was 10 centimeters dilated for 2 hours before I started pushing. And I'm going to explain to y'all why, because a lot of y'all were asking why, and I'm going to explain why right now.
Now that I'm watching you, as soon as I get my hands on you, as soon as I get my hands on you.
What's up, YouTube? My name's Kiana, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And here's Sammy. So I'm gonna be holding her while I record this video. So yeah, because she's a crybaby. Somebody seems to already be spoiled and will not let you put her down for nothing. So as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be finally doing my labor and delivery story time. You guys have been asking me for this video for so long because I did promise you guys that it was going to be coming up very soon, and I'm finally here doing it. It's not as soon as y'all probably want it, but I mean, to me, this is soon. So yeah, I'm not going to make this intro too long, and I'm just going to go ahead and get into the story time. So Summer was born on July 9th at 7:46 a.m. I was 42 weeks pregnant when I had her because she did not want to come out whatsoever. For the 4 weeks that I was getting checked at my prenatal appointments, not once was I ever dilated any, nor was my cervix softened, so I was just miserable because I'm already uncomfortable, tired of being pregnant, while at the same time knowing that this baby ain't trying to come out anytime soon. So the doctor said that at 42 weeks she will finally induce me. She was trying to wait it out just to see if the baby would come on her own because she didn't want me to be in labor for a long time, so she wanted to see if Summer would come on her own, but obviously she didn't. So yeah, I was overdue by 2 weeks. I went to the hospital July 8th at 9 a.m. and I ended up having a baby the next day. I was in labor for 21 hours, and trust me y'all, it felt like it was not nearly as long as that. But pretty much when I got there, I kind of sat in the room for about an hour. I'm about to say a whole lot of words that do not make any sense, so let's just pretend that this didn't happen. Because they had to check with the doctor to see what the doctor wanted to do for me. Since I wasn't dilated at all, they couldn't just go straight into everything. They wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything they wanted to do first so that they can make my cervix get soft. I don't know if that made any sense. I just said a whole lot of words, and I honestly do not know if that made any sense. They did put me on some saline fluid to wake the baby up because I guess the doctors want the babies to be active and moving. The doctors want the baby to be active and moving while you're in labor, so they pump saline fluid into me through my IV. After like maybe an hour of waiting on them to finally come back with some results of what they're gonna do for me, they finally came back and said that they were gonna put a pill up my downstairs area to make me dilate. And that pill is like a little tiny like rock. It's super small and it's sharp. Like it has ragged edges. It has ragged edges, so it's like sharp and it's super tiny. And they of course put it up your downstairs area, and they put it all the way back on your cervix, and with that pill, you cannot go use the bathroom for 4 hours straight. I was laying in that bed for 4 hours drinking apple juice while that pill was in me. I'm an idiot because at like 3 hours of me having that pill, I had to pee so bad. But your girl waited a whole hour to pee, and it was so miserable because I had a baby on my bladder. Like, imagine how miserable that is. Once that 4 hours passed, they checked me again, and I was 2 centimeters dilated. Finally, after like weeks of being told that you weren't dilated at all, Hearing that I was just 2 centimeters dilated was a miracle. Like, I never thought I would get to that point, to be honest. And the nurse told me that I was having contractions already. I didn't feel them because they were very small. But after I got off the pill, they let me like eat before they put me on the Pitocin, because the Pitocin is what they pump into you through your IV that pretty much induces you. Like, it starts your contractions, makes you dilate, like it gets the baby out of you. They said that they were gonna let me eat before they put me on the Pitocin, since I was already there for like 4 hours, and they didn't want me to be there starving, which once you're like actually in labor and you're having contractions, food is the last thing that you're worried about, trust me. As I was eating, I did start to feel my contractions. They weren't unbearable, but I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel something. So that was a good sign to me, because I was like, we're actually really getting somewhere. Once I got put on the Pitocin, my contractions got so bad. Like, they were so painful. It got to the point where I was like, you know, I need to take something or get the epidural so that this pain goes away. The epidural was the only thing I was scared about, because I do not like needles. I don't like small needles. So imagine me wanting to get a big needle put in my back. Very unlikely. They did not want to put me on the epidural because they didn't want me to have to lay in bed for a really, really long time, not able to get up. Because when you put on the epidural, you're not able to get up because your legs are numb. So they were like, you know, we can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then she was like, we have a medicine that we can pump into your IV, but it may not work. And I'm sitting there like, but I went along with it. I was like, okay, I'll get on the medicine that gets pumped in your IV. But in order to get that medicine, you have to be checked if you're dilated. So I let her do it. That nurse's fingernails were sharp, and they were like this long. They were way too long. And when she started putting her hand in me, or her finger, or whatever, I don't know how they do it, I'm not a doctor. But when she put her finger in me, all I felt was her sharp nail, and it hurt so bad. Like, it was not acrylics, it was her actual nail. So it was sharp and painful. So I told her to get off me. I was like, you're not putting that in me. I didn't say that, but I did say, like, I screamed no, because I did not want her to do it. And she was like, so you don't want me to do it? And I said no. So then she was like, okay, well, do you want to be put on the epidural instead? And I was like, yeah. About maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes to get my epidural ready. And then they brought the, I don't know what the person's called, but the person who does the epidural, they brought the person in there, and I'm gonna explain the epidural to y'all because I have a feeling this. I know that some of you guys on here are pregnant yourself, and I just want y'all to know, if you're scared of the epidural, there is no need to be scared of it. I was extremely scared, but I got through it, and it was not painful. She put me on the edge of the bed, and then she kind of she leaned me over her, and she held on to my shoulders, and then after I got the epidural, the nurse checked me to see if I was dilated. This time, I didn't feel her long nails, thank God. But she said that I was 5 centimeters dilated. So yeah, I was 5 centimeters dilated, and then I just kind of chilled for the rest of the night. My main concern was the fact that every 5 minutes I was yelling at my mom to push my legs back on the bed. When my legs were never falling off the bed, like they were in the middle of the bed perfectly fine, but I could not feel my legs to the point where they felt like they were falling. It was so uncomfortable, and if you watch my labor and delivery vlog, you'll see how I was screaming at my mom to fix my legs all the time. Before they put the catheter in me, like right when I got put on my epidural, I had thought my water broke because I was sitting there peeing on myself and I couldn't feel it, like I couldn't feel myself doing it. So I was sitting there, like I was talking to the nurse, and I was like the bed's super wet. And she was like, oh my gosh, did your water break? Did your water break? And then she was like, no, you're just peeing. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. After chilling for the rest of the night, the doctor told me that if I start to feel pressure down there, to call them immediately and let them know. 20 minutes after she came in the room and told me that, I started feeling pressure, so I called her and she came and checked me, and I was 7 centimeters dilated. Then I started feeling pressure like 30 minutes later. I was 8 centimeters, and then I felt pressure again, and I called her and I was 8.5. And then she put me on this peanut ball, and I guess, I don't know what it was supposed to do. It's a ball that they put between your legs in your bed, and I don't know what it was supposed to do. Then I asked her to come back in and check me again because I was feeling pressure, and I was 9 centimeters. Then I think maybe 20 minutes later, I felt the pressure again. It was getting heavier each time. That's why it was bothering me so much. I was like, you know, I need to call them. I shouldn't hold it in. I need to trust my instinct that something might be going on and call them and let them know. And then they came back in for one last time, and I was 10 centimeters dilated. If you watched my labor and delivery vlog, you would know that I was 10 centimeters dilated for 2 hours before I started pushing. And I'm going to explain to y'all why, because a lot of y'all were asking why, and I'm going to explain why right now. My doctor, my OB, the person who delivers your baby, was at home asleep, and they were blowing up her phone and she never answered. So they were like, you know, your water hasn't broken yet. The baby is still in the sack. My OB is the only person who can break my water, and at the time, my water had not broken yet. So they were like, you know, you can start pushing now, but you need to know that either your baby's gonna come out in its sack, which there's nothing wrong with that. You'll push the baby out and the sack will break as you're pushing, or you'll have to get an emergency C-section. And I was like, you know, I really don't want to risk anything. They told me that honestly, if the pressure isn't super bad, you can wait. And you can wait until your OB does come, which it was 4 a.m. already when I was 10 centimeters dilated. Guess what time my OB shift starts? 7 a.m. After like 2 hours of waiting in pain, I finally decided, like, you know, the pain is getting too bad. I need to go ahead and push now. So I told my nurses, like, I need to push now. So they brought their little nurse group in, and they got me ready to start pushing, and I started pushing. Nothing had went wrong from there. I pushed for an hour, and then magically it was 7 o'clock, and my OB walked through the door to save the day. Came in, got her little tool, and broke my water, thank God. And from there, it took me only 15 minutes to push Summer out. Like, I did that, period. I did tear. It was just a tiny tear, and I got 1 stitch, which I didn't feel me getting the stitches at all because I was so focused on the baby that I didn't even know that I had torn until they got done stitching me up, because I saw her cleaning up like thread. I was like, did I tear? And she was like, yeah, it was just a little tear. Summer was having trouble keeping her oxygen levels up, so she was having trouble breathing. So they took her from me for like 30 minutes and they tried to bring her back up. Gladly they did, but they just wanted to be sure that she was okay. So they kept her from me for 4 hours. Luckily, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl, so she was only taken away from me for 4 hours. Could have been worse, so I'm extremely grateful. But yeah, that is pretty much my labor and delivery story time. Of course, you can comment your questions if you have any, if my comments don't get disabled, or you can DM me on Instagram and I will gladly answer. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram to see more of me and Summer. And we will see you all in the next video.
Lights, you know it's money everywhere. Part in my pockets, I had to drop it 'cause you dead.